Earth's mysteries. Some places on Earth look too impossible to be real. The sky appears beneath your feet. An underground cave glows like a living galaxy. A waterfall surrounds an entire jungle with walls of water. Ancient ice hides a blue world below its surface, while a pink lake burns against the landscape like something from another planet. These are not scenes created by special effects. They are real. And today, we are entering the wildest natural wonders on Earth. Places so beautiful, so extreme, and so unbelievable that reality begins to feel like fiction. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. At an elevation of over 3,600 meters on the Bolivian plateau, a white sea stretches to the horizon. That is Salar de Uyuni, the largest salt flat in the world. This area spans over 10,000 square kilometers. In the dry season, the surface hardens and cracks into millions of polygonal tiles. No trees, almost no signs of life. Then, the rainy season arrives. Just a thin layer of water is enough to turn the entire salt flat into a giant mirror. Clouds, mountains, and the sky are reflected almost perfectly. The distant boundary disappears. Earth and sky blend together in the middle of the endless white void. Inkawasi Island suddenly rises with volcanic rocks and towering cacti. Wild. So bizarre, it looks like it was made with special effects. Underwater waterfall, Mauritius. Mauritius. From the ocean surface, this place looks pretty normal. A tropical lagoon with blue water, white sand, and mountains rising along the shore. When you sit in a plane banking over southwest Mauritius, everything instantly changes. The water below suddenly seems to collapse, is pulled into long streaks. Ocean currents swirl right behind. Everything rushes toward a dark, offshore abyss. It looks like the entire sea surface is plunging to the bottom of the Indian Ocean. This illusion is called the Mauritius underwater waterfall. No actual waterfall exists. It is just sand and currents deceiving your eyes. Surrounding it are coral reefs, pristine beaches, and the Le Morne Massif.
Salma Hayek has never had any interest in changing or hiding her thick native accent, even while standing on one of Hollywood's biggest stages at the Golden Globes. And it was that honesty and effortless confidence that completely won audiences over and made them adore her even more.
Tumpak Sewu Waterfall, Indonesia. A river rushes to the edge of a mountain, but it does not fall at a single point. It splits into dozens of water streams, covering a semicircular cliff in the middle of the East Java jungle. Indonesians call this place Tumpak Sewu, a waterfall complex about 120 meters high, located right under the slopes of the Semeru volcano. Its name means 1,000 waterfalls, and that is almost true when looking from above. The entire canyon looks like a massive crater. Streams pour in from all sides, then disappear into the thick mist below. To get to the bottom of the falls, you have to climb down steep metal steps. Cling to the wet cliff. wade through currents cutting across the path. The deeper you go, the louder the waterfall gets. Water spray fills the air. Black rocks tower all around. Humans become mere tiny dots among dozens of white silk streams. Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. About 1,000 kilometers off the coast of Ecuador, white sand and blue water abruptly crash into black lava fields. Silence emerges a volcanic land made up of 127 large islands, islets and rocks, all isolated in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It is that isolation that created creatures practically non-existent anywhere else. Blue-footed boobies stand on rocky shores. Giant tortoises crawl through the bushes. Sharks glide close to the shallow waters. But the most bizarre of the marine iguanas, they are the only lizards in the world that dive into the ocean to forage. Mangroves grow straight out of the lava bed. Waves crash against black cliffs. "97% of the archipelago landmass is protected as a national park. The Galapagos does not feel like a reserve built for tourists. It feels like an evolutionary branch that broke off from the rest of the Earth." Waitomo Glowworm Caves, New Zealand. You leave the green, grassy hills of Waitomo behind, cross through the dense forest, follow a stream, and then stop in front of a pitch-black cave entrance. From here, the journey completely changes. You step down into the cold water, duck under stalactites, squeeze through narrow and slippery rock crevices. The light behind you quickly disappears. Darkness swallows everything. Then thousands of glowing blue dots appear all at once on the cave ceiling. They are not stars. They are Arachnocampa luminosa larvae, a species found only in New Zealand. You have made it through a tough trek, only to realize the deep underground hides the thing most resembling the sky. Chapter T. Svartifos. Yellowstone National Park, USA. Rivers wind through valleys. Pine forests blanket the mountainsides. Herds of large animals move across the meadows. Yellowstone looks peaceful, but deep underground, the heat never stops rising. The Yellowstone River suddenly rushes over a rocky edge, plunging down the lower falls from a height of 93 meters, then pouring straight into the blazing yellow canyon below. On the plains, bison roam in herds. Moose appear among the tree trunks. Pronghorn and elk freely cross the vast landscape. Here you are, just a tiny guest, but the most unbelievable sight lies at the Grand Prismatic Spring. A sprawling hot spring opens up on the ground. The center is deep blue, surrounded by rings of vibrant yellow, orange, and red. Those colors do not come from chemicals. They are created by microorganisms that can survive in extreme temperatures. Socotra Island, off the coast of Western Australia. Lake Hillier appears like a splash of pink. sitting right next to the deep blue ocean. This hypersaline lake is located on Middle Island, separated from the sea by only a low strip of forest and white sand shores. Right before your eyes are three distinct colors placed side by side: the pink of the lake, the green of the forest, the blue of the ocean, and landscape looks like a color-graded photo, but this pink hue is completely natural. Extremely salty water, algae, bacteria, and various pigment-producing microorganisms coexist. They turn the lake into a vibrant pink patch standing out on the wild island. Great Barrier Reef, Australia. Along the east coast of Australia, a massive coral strip stretches for over 2,300 kilometers, so large it can be seen from space. Welcome to the Great Barrier Reef, the largest coral reef system in the world. On a map, it looks like countless islands and streaks of color scattered across the open sea. Dark blue patches, turquoise waters, thousands of reefs lying right next to each other. But the most unbelievable part is underneath. You leave the shore by boat, cross the vast open water, then dive into the crystal clear ocean. Instantly, a whole different world opens up. Branching corals, soft corals, and colorful reefs cover the ocean floor. Small fish dart through rock crevices. Sunlight piercing down makes the scenery constantly change. The Great Barrier Reef is not just a landscape, it is a living wonder. Vast, untouched, and so overwhelming that it feels like you just dived into another planet. Rainbow Mountain, Peru. Emerges in the Andes highlands. Red, yellow, blue, purple, the colors stack on top of each other as if painted by hand. But this is no special effect. This is the Rainbow Mountain of Peru, sitting at an altitude of nearly 5,000 meters. The colors do not come from vegetation. They are hidden in sedimentary layers, rich in iron, clay, magnesium, and many other minerals. The rock layers were uplifted, eroded, and finally exposed after millions of years. To witness this sight, you have to cross an empty, barren trail, either on your own 2 feet or sitting on horseback to conquer the steepest section. The higher you climb, the thinner the air gets. Every step you take becomes heavier. Then, the final peak reveals itself. A sea of colors stretching across multiple ranges, as if the entire geological history of the Andes has just been flipped open right on the ground. Antelope Canyon, USA. A narrow crack opens up in the ground. You step inside instantly. Red sandstone walls close in all around. They curve and twist, looking like moving waves. You are standing in Antelope Canyon, a slot canyon hidden on Navajo land. These curves were not made by hand. Over thousands of years, flash floods rushed through the narrow gaps. The currents carried sand and gravel. Each sandstone layer was carved deeper after every flood. Antelope Canyon looks like a piece of art hidden beneath the desert. But its creator was not human. It was water, sand, and time. Pamukkale, Turkey. The red cliffs of Antelope Canyon, behind the scenery in front of you, shifts to a pure white hillside in southwestern Turkey. From afar, Pamukkale looks like a glacier spilling down into the valley, but there is no snow here. Those white layers are formed by minerals accumulating over thousands of years. Hot water from underground flows over the hillside, spilling over rock edges and pooling into pale blue, multi-tiered terraces. You walk barefoot on the limestone surface. Warm water flows around your ankles. Up ahead are white curves, connecting one after another, all the way down to the plains below. Pamukkale means cotton castle, a totally fitting name for a place where hot water and white rocks combined to create a winter-like landscape right in the middle of a hot, dry region. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. On the island of Bohol, the tropical forest suddenly gives way to thousands of almost identically shaped hills. They are not tall, nor do they have sharp mountain peaks. They are just round mounds of earth, rising up back to back, covering the landscape all the way to the horizon. Filipinos call this bizarre terrain the Chocolate Hills, a complex of over 1,000 limestone hills right in the center of the island. During the rainy season, grass covers them in vibrant green, but when the dry season rolls in, the vegetation slowly turns brown, making the whole area look like countless giant chocolate drops. From the observation deck, you will see the hills stacking up in layers, creating a strange spectacle that nature has repeated over 1,000 times. Volcán de Fuego, Guatemala. As darkness falls over the Guatemalan highlands, a distant mountain peak begins to glow. That light source comes from Volcano Fuego, one of the most active volcanoes in Central America. Smoke billows from the crater, deep explosions echo through the surrounding valleys from the slopes of Acut and Ango. You can watch the entire scene from a safe distance. During the day, columns of gray ash shoot straight up into the sky. But when night falls, streams of glowing red lava appear against the black mountain backdrop. Hot rocks are pushed out of the crater. They roll down the steep slopes and shatter into small glowing dots before fading away. You just stand there, amidst the cold air and darkness, watching a living mountain constantly change, right before your eyes. Ronda, Spain. In the Siberian winter, a massive body of water gets slowly locked beneath a layer of transparent ice. Lake Baikal stretches over 600 kilometers between mountain ranges and taiga forests in southern Siberia. It is also the deepest freshwater lake in the world. When temperatures drop drastically, the lake surface freezes into a blue and white expanse. This area is so vast that it looks like its own separate continent. Beneath the ice are long-running cracks and clusters of bubbles trapped in layers. In some places, the surface is so clear that you can look straight down into the deep, dark void beneath your feet. Baikal does not just freeze. It turns into a world made of glass, in the middle of the Siberian winter. Avenue of the Baobabs, Madagascar. A dirt road made of red earth runs through the arid plains of western Madagascar. On both sides are giant tree trunks reaching up like stone pillars. Near Morondava, the Avenue of the Baobabs is formed by dozens of grandiose baobabs standing in 2 rows along the road. Their trunks swell wide to store water. Branches are only concentrated at the very top. This structure makes them look like roots pointing upside down into the sky. When twilight begins, the sun dips between the trunks and their shadows stretch out onto the road. The sky turns orange while the baobabs slowly turn into massive black silhouettes. This is not a closed-off park or reserve, but a road still used by locals every single day. Sigiriya, Sri Lanka. In the middle of Sri Lanka's green plains, a towering rock block shoots straight up out of the forest canopy. That is an ancient fortress built on top of a rock column about 180 meters high. The journey begins at the gardens and water pools at the foot of the mountain. From here, stairs gradually lead up along an almost vertical rock face. Along the way, ancient frescoes and the remains of a wall that was once polished like a mirror. You continue to walk past 2 stone lion paws, the surviving pieces of a massive gateway that has vanished with time. At the summit are the ruins of the palace and water reservoirs, opening up to a sweeping view of the forest down below. City of Arts and Sciences, Spain. A towering green cliff reaches out from Nusa Penida Island, then abruptly drops off into the Indian Ocean. Viewed from above, the curved ridge looks like the head and back of a dinosaur. Right below is Kelingking Beach, a strip of white sands squeezed between the cliff and the deep blue sea. At the viewpoint, the beach looks very close, but to touch it, you have to hike down a narrow trail running right along the spine of the ridge. Wooden fences hug the edge of the drop, and many steep sections become almost vertical. The lower you go, the louder the waves sound. The cliff above also looms much larger. At the end of the path, the sandy beach fully opens up. Powerful waves continuously crash onto the shore. The enclosing rock walls make this place feel completely cut off from the rest of the island. Mendenhall Glacier, USA. Leaving the tropics, the landscape before you shifts to a freezing valley in Alaska. The Mendenhall Glacier stretches nearly 21 kilometers just outside the city of Juneau. From the Juneau icefield, the river of ice slides down between forested mountain slopes and comes to a halt by Mendenhall Lake. Blue ice chunks break off from the glacier's edge, drifting slowly on the water before melting away. Nearby, Nugget Falls pours directly onto the lake shore. A rare scene is created when a green forest, a waterfall, and ancient ice all appear in a single frame. Mendenhall looks motionless from a distance, but the cracks on its surface prove it is still moving and changing day by day.